In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the 3 life-changing secrets I learned from 5+ years of practicing authenticity. These 3 secrets have helped me go from an insecure, purposeless, and depressed individual to a confident, happy, and purpose-driven individual. So if you can apply all 3 of these secrets into your life, I am very confident that you'll experience similar results. Now, obviously, everybody knows what authenticity is. Or do they? Because personally for me, growing up, I thought I knew what authenticity was. I mean, just be yourself. It's simple. But after learning these 3 secrets I'm about to share with you, I can 100% say that I had no idea what true authenticity was. And it's definitely not as simple as most people believe. The statement, just be yourself, is technically true. But for the vast majority of people, it's also technically not true. Because the vast majority of people don't even know who they are. And this is the position I was in. For a long time, I was just living my life, doing my daily routine, going through the motions of what I thought I was supposed to be doing. But in my heart, in my soul, I felt off. You know, I remember a specific moment in my teens where I looked myself in the mirror and I knew that I was supposed to be doing something more, but I didn't know what it was. I asked myself the question, was this it? Are we really just here to be born, go to school, get a career, get married if you're lucky, retire, and die? And I'm sure some of you who are watching this video ask yourself this same question daily. It was this feeling that made me start questioning things. And it was also this feeling that made me realize that very few of us are actually being authentic. And some of you are probably like, what are you talking about? And that's good, because for you to be able to properly understand the first life-changing secret I learned from practicing authenticity, you need to be questioning things. So let me explain. You see, in order to be truly authentic, you need to realize that we basically have 2 personalities. One is an illusion that we use so we can navigate the world, while the other is who you truly are. And this concept isn't new. In fact, many different philosophies speak of this in their own way. In spirituality, you can refer to this as your higher self and your lower self. If you're religious, you can look at this as the soul and the Holy Spirit. If you're scientific, you can look at this as the superego and the ego. The point I'm trying to make is that one of these personalities is a tool that we use to navigate the world, while the other is who we actually are. And if you're anything like I was, you've probably been thinking that you're the tool and not the hand that uses it. If you have no concept of these 2 personalities, and you think you're only the lower self, the soul, the ego, the tool, you'll never be able to be truly authentic. Because all these names I just listed are all just temporary illusions. And because you're going through life acting and identifying as an illusion, guess what? You'll only create and experience more illusions. Your life will likely revolve around short-term pleasure-seeking behaviors, drugs, sex, money, fame. And I'm not saying these things are necessarily bad. They can be good depending on the intent. But at the end of the day, we all know that these things will never fulfill us. But there is something that can fulfill us. And if you've been paying attention, you might have a couple ideas of just what that is. But as a side note, if you have any brief questions, put them in the comments below. And if you're really serious and you want me to personally help you out with any issues you might be having, or you just want to chat, sign up for one-on-one coaching with me. Also, don't forget to download my free ebook that I made to specifically help you navigate and understand the 10 secret stages of success you'll 100% be going through on the way to achieving your dreams. You can find the links to both of these in the description and the pinned comment down below. When you start to recognize that you are also the higher self, the Holy Spirit, the superego, the consciousness that is holding the tool, you can start to get access to your true eternal self. And by doing this, you can start to get access to experiencing the second secret I learned from 5+ years of practicing authenticity, which is true authenticity. True authenticity is being able to know in each and every present and passing moment that if you had the option to do something differently, you'd continue to be expressing yourself exactly as you're expressing yourself right now. True authenticity is really being able to know that you're creating the life you want to live in. And you're consistently taking more and more steps each and every day to create more of it. And I know it probably sounds like it, but true authenticity isn't all sunshine and rainbows either, because it involves creating a conscious, loving relationship with yourself, being completely honest with and following yourself. And to put it bluntly, this is not easy. And learning how to do this takes time, because first and foremost, it involves unlearning everything that's currently separated you from you. And you may currently think you know yourself well, or maybe you don't. Either way, I encourage you to really look at the things you do in your life. How many of the things that you're doing right now can you confidently say are an expression of your higher self, versus how many of the things you're doing right now are an expression of your lower self, or in other words, your ego. And if you're having trouble identifying which is which, all you have to do is think about how you feel about any given topic. Do you feel good about it? Or do you feel bad about it? Do you feel excited with a little bit of fear? Or do you feel bored? And do you wish you could do something else? Because that feeling of boredom is you talking to you. It's your higher self talking to your lower self. And it's the third powerful secret I learned from practicing authenticity. This communication is called your intuition, but we're not taught to follow our intuition, to follow our true selves. We're taught to follow our lower selves, to chase after illusions that don't fulfill us, and at the end of the day, don't mean anything. And as you hear me talking about this, you can probably intellectually understand this. But when you start practicing this for yourself, you're gonna see just how many people are following their lower selves and chasing illusions without even realizing it. Just how many people are essentially living a lie and are basically just NPCs, following a predetermined path that was set out for them before they were even born. And the craziest thing is, most people who do this aren't even happy doing this. I mean, it's insane. And I'm no different here, guys. True authenticity is a continual learning process that involves learning to see where you're stuck in cycles, learning to see where you're doing things that are not in alignment with your higher self, and taking steps to break out of those cycles and create new cycles that are in alignment with your higher self and that bring you fulfillment. In order to do this, you need to be consistently following the third secret. And that third secret is your intuition. That's why you need to learn how to follow your intuition, because your intuition is direct communication with your higher self, God, Source, Holy Spirit, superego, whatever you want to call it. It's the reason we're not taught to follow our true selves. We're taught to follow our lower selves, to chase after illusions that, to be quite frank, weaken us, so we can continue to be controlled. But once you start learning how to properly follow your intuition, you can no longer be controlled, because your true self starts to come through. And once this process starts, it's very hard to stop. Now, following your intuition is not easy. In fact, it can be very scary. I mean, your intuition oftentimes goes against your logic. It sometimes goes against everything you know and everything people are telling you that you should do. But if you can put faith in it and trust it, it will never fail you. And it will always guide you to what's meant for you. And I'm not just speaking BS here, guys. I'm speaking completely from my own experience. I know I said I've been practicing authenticity for over 5 years, but in reality, it's closer to over 10 years that I've now been following my intuition consistently. And I am a completely different person than who I was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, not only was I an insecure, depressed, purposeless individual, but mentally, I had a lot of issues, to put it lightly. I couldn't even do simple things in public without feeling intense anxiety. I was extremely quiet and mostly stayed to myself. I was extremely awkward and I felt super uncomfortable in my body. Not only that, but just based off statistics, I was definitely not meant to be where I am right now, to put it bluntly. I mean, personally for me, I grew up in the hood in a single parent household, was somewhere between poor and middle class in terms of my mom's income, had no father figure to tell me how to operate as a man, and I'm also 5'4", which in my opinion is a good thing now, but let's just say it can make things a bit more difficult, and most guys would definitely not choose to be this height. And I can say all this now with a smile, because I've overcome all of these things in less than 10 years. at the young age of 26. And I now experience fulfillment. And I can happily say that I live a fulfilling life. And what's the secret? How did I do all this? Well, I did all this by just following my intuition. That's it. It's that simple. I just listened to my higher self, had faith, put in the work consistently over time. And now, 10 years later, there is a night and day difference between who I was then and who I am now. And you can do the exact same thing. We're no different. All you have to do is learn to be authentic. And what have you guys learned while practicing authenticity? Let me know in the comments below. Oh, and if you want to learn more about practicing authenticity, I recommend you check out my series on how to be selfish.